Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another chapter, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review over in your favorite podcast app, or you can become a patron at patreon.com/oldmanbrad. And also, make sure you follow me on Letterboxd. Just look for Old Man Brad and you can see all the watches that I do. I have a lot, let me just tell you. All right, I'm back with another new indie film and another interview for you. This week, I'll be talking about the new film Lilly Lives Alone, which comes out everywhere on August 22nd. And I have a interview with the writer and director of the film, Martin Melnick, as well as two of the stars of the film, Shannon Beeby and Ryan Jones. I'm excited for you to hear that. But before we dive into it, I want to say if you're in the Cincinnati area, not only come out to Horror Hound Weekend in a couple weeks, September 12th to the 14th, which I will be there. I'll be doing some Q&As after some of the Film Fest screenings, as well as just hanging out. So if you see me, come say hi to Old Man Brad. Also, on the third Friday of every month, Frightful Fridays at the Esquire Theater. I'm so thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to host a horror screening. We just had our screening of the original The Toxic Avenger from 1984. So much fun. It was such a great crowd. Everybody was into it. And we just had a blast watching Toxie up on the screen. But our screening for September, on September 19th, is going to be the original The Evil Dead from 1981. Another one that I'm super, super excited to be able to screen. This is a 4K restoration of it that we will be screening, and I'm sure it will look fantastic. But come out September 19th at 10 p.m. or I'll swallow your soul. All right, let's talk all things Lilly Lives Alone.
You ain't the only person that ever lost somebody, you know?
I'm seeing things. Many things. You can't let your guard down, not for a minute. Men are always coming for you.
We're your friends. This is what you call community.
You won't want to see me dead or dying, but I'm still here. Claire, they're coming to get me, okay?
No one is coming to get you, babe.
Guided by the ghost of her daughter, a guilt-ridden mother plunges into madness through the course of drug-fueled fever dream. This is written and directed by Martin Melnick. It stars Shannon Beeby, Ryan Jones, Jeffrey Combs, Aaron Way, and many others. Like I said, this comes out August 22nd. This is a movie that you need to see. It is a movie that will make you think. It is a movie that kind of, as you go along, you have this woman, Lilly, played by Shannon Beeby, who is kind of spiraling into this darkness of what is reality, what is not. I'm not going to dive too much further into it. I'm going to say I enjoyed the film. And after talking to Martin, Shannon, and Ryan, it was one of those things that really had me thinking more about the film. And I actually plan on watching it again to see if I can pick up a few things here and there. But why don't we dive into my interview with Martin Melnick, Shannon Beeby, and Ryan Jones, and I will talk to you on the other side. The upcoming film, Lilly Lives Alone, deals with isolation, loneliness, and so much more. It will be released August 22nd. Here to talk about the film, I want to welcome in writer-director Martin Melnick and star and co-star of the film, Shannon Beeby and Ryan Jones. How you guys doing today?
Hey.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Martin, tell everybody about the film and kind of how you came up with the idea for this film.
Well, the film's it's like a contained story about this woman who's on the anniversary of her daughter's death is sort of going through a sort of introspective crisis and is having a pretty hard time. And the film deals with a whole lot of sort of complex themes of like you mentioned, isolation, grief, but it's more than grief. It's generational trauma and parentification and these ideas of sort of living with, both ghosts, both literal and sort of ghosts of your past or ghosts of your memories or ghosts of your trauma. So it really is like a multifaceted supernatural story about this woman going through a really hard night in her life.
Shannon and Ryan, what drew you guys to the project?
Really, I think that it was Martin's project. You know, we've known Martin for a while, and we've been friends and collaborators. And when he reached out saying he'd written a feature screenplay, it kind of like, that was like, great, sign us up. And then he was like, oh yeah, and I'm going to send it to you to read too, you know. And then that even more, of course, like solidified, because it was so complex, so rich, so much happening in such a short span of time. It was kind of a no-brainer for me. I'll let Ryan speak for himself.
Well, yeah. Well, Martin and Sarah, they wrote the role for Shannon in mind. And I think me too. I think I'm just kind of the plus one with Shannon. But but yeah. So that was, we were in from the beginning.
Yeah.
Ryan is very, very modest, but there was no plus one in this. This was a very crafted, all these characters were very intentional, and they were written both for Shannon and Ryan specifically.
We've seen movies that kind of deal with a very contained story of many different themes before. What approach did you take for you to kind of to set your story up, not only to kind of be different, but because there's many layers to this, to kind of get the emotions out?
So one of the things that was really important to me, since it is such a contained story, you know, it's not entirely one location, but it's mostly one location, was that this film needed to really center around the perspective of Lilly. So and there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of layers here. So one of the unique things about the movie is, and I'm not trying to watch it a million times, but the more you watch it, the more you'll see something that you didn't see before. And that's by intention. So there's a lot of allegory happening, but there's also a lot of sort of subversive things that we're doing with the structure of the movie itself, so that you are more and more, as she goes down the rabbit hole through this night, you are more and more inside of her head, and you actually see a lot of the bigger themes are actually hinted at with like little Easter eggs and little other sort of allusions throughout the film. So some people will get them the first pass, but the more you watch it, the more you might sort of uncover some more of those layers. It was kind of really important to me that since the film's got a very small contained story, that the sort of scope outside of the film, everything from like the way surrealism plays a part, the way there are ghosts hidden in the corners that you might not notice in the first watch. There are little things that reinforce what Lilly is going through that you can kind of peel back like layers of an onion as you watch it, or you really sort of let it absorb you or absorb over you and watch it a few times. So there's a play. I wanted it to feel bigger outside of its scope, if that makes sense. And there really is a lot to take in.
And Shannon, how did you prepare for the role of Lilly? You have a lot going on in this short amount of time.
Yeah. Martin really packed it in. a lot of stuff, a lot of journey there. I prepared primarily by, first of all, like doing research on addiction and mental illness, and then also like applying like my past observations and experiences around those themes. And on top of that, where I had questions, about Lilly's past, I went through and created memories for myself, like where I thought, like how like certain relationships with certain other characters, very specific moments that may not be referenced in the film itself, but for me as Lilly, like I'm pulling from those memories. And so for me, they're like very, very real. And I did live and experience them. I would say that was the bulk of my like character preparation.
This is a question for all of you. As you were filming it, were there any particular scenes or times or moments that were really challenging for you, especially once you're really, for you, Shannon, really into the role, and for you, Ryan, I mean, your character is a little bit of a somewhat antagonist in a way, and I mean, you, Martin, I mean, it's your movie, so I'm sure there were plenty of challenges for you, but...
There was a few.
We'll start with you, Shannon.
It's tough to it's like, I don't want to reveal.
Without giving anything away.
It's hard. I will say that, so without revealing anything, how do I say this without, so Ryan and I, we're an actual a married couple. We've been in real life. And our characters in the film, and this isn't a spoiler, but we're not married in the film. And as you're saying, like, our relationship isn't always like chill in the film. And I would say there were definitely moments in the making of the film that were traumatic as me, Shannon, and then having to, when you're it's really hard not to reveal things. But yeah, there were things that probably were more traumatic where you're like, wow, this is actually bringing up like fears or things that I wouldn't necessarily have if I wasn't working with my soulmate. And on the flip side of that coin, it also made it so much easier. There were so many moments and like on the journey itself, having Ryan and I there together and as like such an intimate support system for one another was like made all the difference. It was huge. So yeah, I would say that. I mean, that was particularly challenging, but otherwise, like, I can't really say like, sometimes it was cold and wet, but like, that's part of the gig and it's kind of fun, at the end of the day. I guess if you're someone who likes kind of like physical challenges, then sometimes that can be sort of the fun of it is like digging in that way.
Without spoiling anything, Shannon has to be covered in quite a bit of blood and rain and other things throughout like a good portion of this movie. So definitely makes it a little bit, I don't know, maybe harder, maybe easier to get into character, but definitely not more comfortable.
Maybe not. Yeah, physically, maybe not as comfortable.
Brian or Martin, any particular? With that, obviously, it's kind of hard in some aspects. I know for you, Shannon, like I don't want to give this part away. Like,
Yeah. Go ahead, Martin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, just we had an amazing team, so I definitely wasn't doing everything myself, but I was wearing a lot of hats. So I shot the movie as well, which is, a little less traditional since I was directing it. So that was like a pretty big challenge for me throughout the production was honestly just making sure that I was present enough in a space to sort of be there as a support and guide with Shannon and Ryan and the rest of the cast. And that my sort of job and duties of like lighting, working on the camera and lighting stuff with our gaffer was met, but not taking away from my working with the cast. So there was just kind of a push and pull struggle to just make sure that I was, I guess, covering everything. And in that regard, a lot of things, especially some of the more complex scenes that are really emotional and really intimate, where we needed to have, less crew on set and let Shannon and Ryan have space, which meant just, we were all in this like sort of intimate world for those moments. Just a lot of combo of emotional and technical challenges.
Yeah, because Martin, would you say like typically like you would normally want to get like more takes than
That's another. Yeah, I mean that's another thing. I mean, I didn't need to with you all, which was amazing, but yeah, just in general, we had short days. Crew was one of the things when you're on an indie budget is making sure crew feel like they're taken care of that way. So we definitely had short days, which meant we were hustling, but also you choose what's important at the end of the day to capture, and sometimes you give up coverage that you would have gotten otherwise if you had more time, more budget, longer shooting days. I don't know, at the end of the day, we just, we emphasized story and character and really honed in on what was important. And that I feel like really comes through in the final film.
And did the single location really kind of play into that needing to have a smaller crew and everything else? Because you're like, I don't have a whole lot of space to fit people in here.
Absolutely. That was actually, sometimes it was too many people. I mean, honestly, the house is small. It is a really, it's a nice space, but the whole idea of it was this like claustrophobic sort of impending space, and sort of like the walls are closing in on you and on Lilly. So it was small, and at times we would have to like be like, okay, some folks have got to go over into the holding area, or wait outside until we're done with the scene because like we're stepping over each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a challenge. It's a challenge to fit a camera in some of those spaces too.
How long was the shoot? How many days did you shoot?
Principal photography was 18 days.
Okay.
And then I did some pickups, and then some of the, and this isn't really a spoiler because I've talked about them before, but some of the some of the cellular effects and womb things that you see, some of those moments throughout the film were captured later. So there's a few pickups, but majority of the movie was shot in those 18 days.
As heavy as the subject matter is, was there anything that any of you did on set to kind of sometimes lighten the mood? Because, it can be kind of heavy at times. Like, we're like, yeah, you gotta bring people up just a little bit.
We had a lot of, honestly, upstairs. So the second story of the house became our like hair and makeup costume, like holding area. And for us up there, we were just kind of like laughing, telling stories, and we would go into preparation when we needed to. But then also, like, I think any opportunity we could just talk and have fun and talk about like our favorite movies and the things that we like and like make funny TikTok videos, we were doing that because you don't want to spend 3 weeks like in a super, super dark, traumatic mindset. You're going to have to go into that space, and I think it's healthy to leave it at times too, so you can remember like, hey, I actually really love doing this. So I think it was good to switch back and forth.
Absolutely. I'd almost say that, everyone in the crew loves what they were doing and was having a lot of fun. And I think that actually is kind of the opposite almost. We love what we do, and being on set is really fun. And even when you're making something heavy, it is just, you're working with people who are all experts at their craft and are really, really having fun making art. So it's, if anything, I think it's actually usually a bigger challenge when we were doing some of those quieter, intimate scenes to sort of like get us all to be like, oh crap, now we actually have to take this seriously for a second. Not that we weren't taking it seriously, but just that now we have to get into a dark headspace. Like you were saying, it's a heavy film. So like some of those moments, it's 1 minute you're set decorating and lighting stuff, and everyone's telling jokes and having fun, and then you're like, oh well, now we need to actually go into this headspace. So it was actually kind of more the opposite. Is how do we go from that high where everyone's having fun down into that dark space so that we can get those scenes done and then kind of reset. So we have the best job in the world. Being on set is always a blast. It's hard, but it's fun.
Well, especially, I've talked to countless indie filmmakers that like you said, you had many hats that you put on throughout it. And that's a theme talking to a lot of indie creators and filmmakers and everything else is like, I get down and dirty and do what I need to get done to get my vision out there.
Absolutely.
What do you hope audiences take away when they see Lilly Lives Alone? What do you hope that they take away from it after watching it?
There's a lot to take away, and the film, again, I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to demystify too much. Everything in the film is intentional. There's a lot of, as the movie gets more surreal, there's a lot of abstracts, but everything is very intentional and very calculated. So, but without demystifying too much, because I really think it's important the way it's structured that people kind of bring themselves to the movie. And I think that although there are concrete answers, that everyone might get their own sort of finale from it, that I want people to take away that this is a story about a person who's having a really hard time and that they make mistakes. They're imperfect. They're strong. They're not weak, but they have had a hard go of things. And I guess I wanted them to take away a sort of deeper understanding of the character and recognize that it's really easy to judge people if you don't really sort of understand where they're at. So I think the biggest takeaway I want from this movie, which, is layered and draped in other things going on, but the biggest takeaway is that people, and this is a quote in the movie, but people are just people. You never really know what you might do in a set of circumstances that someone else is going through if they were imparted onto you. So I guess a deeper understanding of people and how we make mistakes or how we make decisions when we're under duress or when we're in a state of, fight, flight, or freeze. And really, Lilly is in a constant state of that throughout the whole thing. So I think it's really, I'm really interested to see how people relate and interact with that understanding, because the film is really not about judging people. It's about understanding.
You mentioned it kind of in a little bit when you were talking that this movie, there are many times where you do question what's real, what's not real. How did you balance that of not giving much away as you were going in?
Really hard, actually. It was the biggest challenge, probably. we debated at every stage, and I've talked about this before too. We've debated at every stage from pre-production through production, and even in the editing room, how much exposition I wanted to give. So we had more, could have explained more, but everything is there. And that's another thing is like, I love when films allow you to make those connections on your own, and they don't sort of spoon feed you everything, that you kind of really need to sit with it and think about it. And then once you think about it, you're like, something clicks for you and you're like, you've had that connection. I really personally value films that allow me to make my own connection with the movie and really understand it from what I'm bringing to the movie when I watch it. So yeah, that was a constant push and pull, was deciding, is this, if I say a little bit more here, does that kind of ruin the connections you're going to make? Or am I being too abstract here? And so that was a constant debate, and we kind of like went back and forth until we got it exactly where we wanted it. Whereas you have enough to understand Lilly and understand what happens, and everything else, it's rewarded through rewatching because you'll eventually figure it out fully.
I want to thank the three of you for taking time out of your day to chat with me about Lilly Lives Alone. It is a movie that, you're right, I think if I went back, I would probably see more watching it again, because there are many, many, many themes and layers to it that you kind of peel back as you kind of go through. I wish you guys all the best with this film. I hope it does well. I want to leave one last thing to see if you could describe Lilly Lives Alone, the film, in one word, what would it be?
Ouch. Okay. You go, Shannon.
Okay, I'm just gonna the first word that came to my mind was enigmatic. That was mine. Okay, now you go.
How about Ryan?
I'll buy you some time.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna say healing.
Healing. Oh, I like that one.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is going to sound like a loaded word, but I'd say rebirth.
Oh, that's good.
It has a lot of meanings in it. So
Yeah.
So are we changing the poster tagline now? Enigmatic, healing, rebirth.
Yes.
perfect. I love it.
There you go. Well, thank you guys so much. Where can people kind of follow along to you to see the journey of Lilly Lives Alone? And
I would follow along with Dark Sky Films. Follow them on Instagram. Follow them on X and on their website. There's a website for Lilly Lives Alone on their page, so you can follow. They have more stills in the trailer, and they're putting out more little sort of exclusive clips as we get closer to the premiere on the 22nd.
well, thank you again, and I look forward to talking to you again with whatever project you have coming next.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I want to thank the three of them again for taking the time out of their day to chat with me. It was great getting to chat with them. And like I said, after talking to them and in hearing more of some of the things in the film, we talked a little bit off the record, and I want to go back and rewatch the movie to see if there are little things here and there that I pick up as I go. Let's talk a little bit more about Lilly Lives Alone. So you have Lilly, played by Shannon Beeby. We start out with her kind of, I'm guessing it's kind of a one-night stand with Ryan Jones. And there are a lot of various dark things that happen to her as it goes on. You find out more of the story of a daughter she had, what happened. You really try to figure out what is real, what is not. What I think is hilarious, Jeffrey Combs plays one of the neighbors. They're always just kind of like sitting outside, making comments. And at one point, she thinks that they're fucking with her and doing these things. And he's like, no, I'm just trying to check up on you, make sure you're okay. As the further and further we get into this movie, as I was watching it, I was engaged with these characters from the beginning. But as we got darker and deeper into the film, I really found myself kind of hooked in, wanting to know what is happening, wanting to know what more is to the story of Lilly and things that happen. Is it an entity? Is it drug induced? Are these things other people messing with her? What it is, like, it keeps you kind of guessing along the way and really wondering what ultimately will happen to her through this movie. And the visuals in this movie, the way it is shot, there are pieces, I forgot to ask Martin about this, but there were pieces of this movie where it almost felt like it was a stage play, because you're just trapped in this house with this woman as these things are happening. And I think just there were a few scenes, the way it's framed, it kind of felt like you were in an audience sitting there watching this stuff happen to her. Where's this going to go? Is this actually happening to her? Is it not happening to her? I'm not going to give any of that away. You'll have to go watch the movie. And as Martin said in the interview, you should probably watch the movie multiple times just to make sure. But I'm going to go watch it again. I'm going to watch it again this week. But there are some awesome shots. There are some surreal moments that get kind of cut in to the film. There are some parts where some of this surrealness almost felt cosmic. Some of it felt sometimes other dimensional. It dealt a lot with grief, isolation, being alone, guilt, so many things kind of happening. But there's another interview I have coming soon for a movie called Self-Help, where it kind of deals with grief and isolation and being alone and many other things. And there are a lot of horror movies and a lot of psychological movies coming out right now. And I think it attributes to the time that we all, we were all stuck at home in 2020 and, for however long, of being isolated, that a lot of this psychological horror, psychological thrillers, and different films dealing with this are starting to come out. Lilly Lives Alone is one of those that it gave you some of that feeling, some of that isolation and loneliness and other said things like that. But Lilly Lives Alone comes out August 22nd. I did enjoy the movie, and it was one that stuck in my mind that I thought about multiple days after seeing it. To where, like I said, I'm going to go watch it again to see if there are a few more things or different feelings that I pick up as I watch it. It's a definite recommend for me. Go check it out. Psychological kind of thriller horror. If you do see it, let me know what you thought of it. Just hit me up on social media or email me. You can tell me, hey, you're crazy, or hey, I loved it too. Well, on my way out, as I love to do this year, I want to give you a double feature that you can watch with Lilly Lives Alone. Give you a nice little double feature for the evening. Another movie that is available out there that it got some mixed reviews, but I absolutely loved it. And it is another one that deals with grief, many of these other things in a supernatural way. And that is The Woman in the Yard, that I think Lilly Lives Alone, The Woman in the Yard, they deal with some similar subject matters in a little bit of a different way that I think they play together as a great double feature. So that's my double feature pick to go with Lilly Lives Alone is The Woman in the Yard. Go watch both of those. The Woman in the Yard is available on Peacock, so you can go watch it there. That's my double feature for this week. Go check them out. I have one little promo for you on my way out. I want to tell you about new film also coming into theaters August 22nd. Sophie Turner delivers a thrilling performance of survival in trust. See it only in theaters on August 22nd. After a scandal, a Hollywood starlet retreats to a remote cabin, but she's not alone. Betrayed by the man she trusted most, she's trapped in a brutal game of survival. She can hide, but she can't run. Get tickets now. It's rated R from Republic Pictures. And I have some Fandango codes to be able to see this in the theater. If you want to see Trust, starring Sophie Turner, just hit me up. Just email me, oldmanbradpodcast@gmail.com. First come, first serve. And I will send you a Fandango code that you can redeem to be able to see Trust in the theater starting August 22nd. Well, there you go. That will do it for this chapter. Just make sure you subscribe to the show and you will never miss any chapter of Old Man Brad, whether it's this regular show, Tales from Tubi, Versus, anything else that I do over here. I am going to have a few Fright Fest watches coming, as well as a couple Fright Fest interviews, so watch for those coming next week. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.